Look, I want to try to give some practical tips to everybody. Now, I'm going to go pretty quick. I'm going to cover a lot of things. You're going to like some of them. You're not going to like some of them. That's okay. Take the best, leave the rest. But I think you can pull out one or two things that you can put into action today to help you increase your production. I'm going to focus on three key themes. Number one, your attitude. Number two, your own personal development. And number three, activity. And then I'm going to throw in some lessons learned, okay? But the main three are the top three. So let's get into it. Your attitude. There's a couple things that I've done and books that I've read that have helped me. And so I'm going to tell you that. Number one, the book Think and Grow Rich. When I got into this business, somebody just told me I should read this thing. And why do I need to read this thing? And I read it, and it changed my thinking on a lot of things. I learned that my mind is a supercomputer, and anything I put my mind to, I can accomplish. So I would encourage you, if you've not read that book, read it. If you've read it, maybe read it again. Joe's book, Living a Life of Significance. If you're doubting yourself in this business, if you're saying, gee, am I really supposed to be in this business? It just doesn't seem right to me. You got to read Joe's book. He will put it back down in your heart of why you're in this business. And then my friend Ben Newman, Own Your Success. Ben speaks to professional athletes all over the world who are undergoing, very tough times at times. And he talks about mental toughness. And so, at this time, you need mental toughness, you need grit, you need perseverance, you need to have purpose, and you need to have your mind right, okay? The Kinder brothers had a huge impact on me as well. And they say, Ben Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And they said, in these times, you should be reading, you should be studying. Keep a positive attitude. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's not up to your company. It's not up to your manager. It's not up to the president. It's not up to Chairman Powell. It's up to you. So just have that attitude. Choose not to participate in this recession. I know that sounds crazy, but back when I was an agent at MetLife, the country went through a recession, and there was a legend in the business by the name of Harvey Cook who got up at a meeting and he said, "I've chosen not to participate in this recession." I'm going, who is this guy choosing not to participate in a recession? But you want to know what? I went back and I started thinking about it. And Harvey had his best year that year, and I had my best year that year. You've got to think different. So you've got to maybe increase your activity. But like Joe said, with Zoom, you can be much more efficient. You don't have to drive from appointment to appointment. You could literally run 10 or 12 appointments. Do you know in the last 18 hours, I've been in front of 1,500 people, 1,500 people in 18 hours just via Zoom. I mean, it's crazy. But you got to put events on your calendar. See, we all wake up with an open calendar, nothing on it. We're in lockdown. And you've got to calendar your events, and you've got to hold yourself accountable. So if you need to call 10 or 12 people every day, or 15 or 20, put that down on your calendar. If you need to run 4 Zoom appointments, put it on your calendar and hold yourself accountable. I know these seem very little and they seem stupid, but I'm telling you, they make all the difference. I would encourage you not to participate in pity parties. It used to be you'd go to lunch and everybody would be bitching about this or that or the other thing, but now it's all, you're picking up the phone, you're calling your buddies, everybody's having a bad time. Don't participate in that. Schedule calls with people who are doing well. I promise you right now, there are people in your company having the best year they've ever had, ever. Well, why don't you talk to them and talk to other people who are having a great year? And remember, while many people are hurting, some people are having the best years of their lives. I'm talking delivery drivers, truck drivers, Domino's Pizza, Chipotle. There are places, Walmart, Kroger's, Safeway. There are places that are having boom times right now, okay? So you got to find those places, and you got to focus on people. What about the people that have never been able to have time to see you? They're rich, they're successful, they're business owners, they're chiropractors, they're dentists. They never have time to see you. Guess what? They got time now. So reach out to those people, the people who said no. Reach out to all of the people who told you that annuities were stupid, or that they're bunk. Well, I think Ken Fisher's bunk. I don't think annuities are bunk. The people who have annuities are very happy right now. The people who have cash value life insurance are very happy right now. And so you got to communicate that. But look through your book of business for opportunities. You'll have opportunities today that you're not going to have in the future. I say this, there are riches in niches. If you want to get rich, you got to find a niche. Now, my niche, I'm retirement income. There was Ed Slott in the life insurance, Van Miller, Joe Jordan's motivational. My niche was retirement income. You got to find your niche. Maybe maybe you work with truck drivers in your area, or delivery drivers, or chiropractors, or dentists. Find a niche that will make you rich. Reach out to your clients. reach out to your prospects, just see how they're doing. But you can say, hey, Tom Hegna here. I specialize in helping retirees retire happy and successful no matter what is happening with the stock market. Just be that optimism out there, not false optimism, but based on guarantees and what we do in our business. I saw this online, and this is going to upset some people, but it said, in times of crisis, bad businesses fail, good businesses survive, great businesses thrive. Now, I know that seems kind of cruel because there are going to be some good businesses that fail in this thing because this was totally unexpected. But what is a crisis? A crisis is unexpected. And that's why, as business owners, as leaders, we need to teach people you've got to have 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months of expenses saved up. You've got to do it because this is not going to be the last crisis of our lifetime. I can promise you that. And great businesses plan not just for the good times, but also for the bad times. Item number 2, this is a time for your professional development. This is time to sharpen your blade, to learn, to study and train. You've got time to do it. Ladies, there's a few great books out there, all right? Judy Hoberman wrote a book, Selling in a Skirt. Great book. Andy Fraser, you're going to hear from her next, I think, Financially Free. And my friend Julie McNeely, No Necktie Needed. Now, these aren't just for women's book, by the way. These are for men too, because I've read them all right? But I would encourage you to, these are ladies who've gone through good times and bad times, and they share with you lessons that they've learned, and you're going to hear from Andy live in a minute. For those of you who are with a company that has Hoopus Performance Network, this would be a time to dive into the Hoopus Performance Network. Look, I think all the speakers on this call are on that Hoopus Performance Network. And Harry's going to be talking, he's going to close it down, but I would encourage you to take advantage of the training that you can get there. My stuff, I would encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. It is free. You go to tomhegna.com, you click on sign up for the newsletter. My most popular newsletter ever was this one. Why Ken Fisher Really Loves Annuities, and you should too. This would be good to look up. Just Google it. You can send that out to some of your clients and say, yeah, I guess Ken Fisher was a bunch of bunk. And he really does love annuities because he was getting rich off of them, but he's not going to like them much anymore because I think some of his clients are going to take legal action against him. I was named as one of the 11 top thought leaders in retirement income by the American College. So, if you use some of my resources, you can say, look, this guy speaks all over the world. I've got tools, I've got books, I've got audiobooks, I've got DVDs, I've got slide decks, I've got white papers, I've got online training and coaching. The stuff that I've built over the past 7 or 8 years was built for markets just like these. And I would encourage you to take a look at them. Most of you have some of these books. If you don't, if you use the code 15OFF, you can get 15% off of anything at tomhegna.com. I've got online training and coaching and client education. I literally put my brain online. I did this years ago, and now it's paying off. And so you can literally transfer my brain into yours by using this system. It's got a coaching side to it. So before an appointment, you go to client coach. A video me pops up, say, tell me about this appointment. Is your client single or married? You click single. How old is this person? 72. Once you hit those 2 buttons, a video me pops up. Okay, so you're going on an appointment with a 7-year-old widow. Here's going to be her key concerns. Here's the products you're probably going to use. Here's the question you should ask her. Here's going to be her objections. Here's how I would handle those objections. And I coach you before you go on the appointment. The next day, you're going on an appointment with a 35-year-old couple. You get married, 35, and I coach you very differently than I did the day before. And the last thing it does is client education. You can have me educate your clients as part of my PBS TV special, which, by the way, played in 80 million homes in the US and Canada. I had to establish Retire Happy You. This is for clients. You can send them a link and they can watch my videos where I show them why they need life insurance, annuities, long-term care insurance. It's all based in math and science. I put my DVDs in there. I put my audiobooks in there. I put my white papers in there. So you can send them a link so they can watch my PBS TV special right on their TV set. And you can send it out to an unlimited number of people. I would encourage you to study the products that you sell. You don't know how many financial advisors are out there who really don't know what's guaranteed in their product and what's not guaranteed, what the fees are, how that one works, how that rider works. They kind of know, but they don't know. And so I would encourage you to study those products, read the brochures, read the policies, read the prospectuses, know the fees, know the features, know the performance, and then know your competitors' products. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was at MetLife, I was a new agent, and what do new agents do? They sell mortgage insurance, right? So I had a new home list, and I'm calling people up offering mortgage protection. And I was getting my butt kicked at the time by New York Life. And this was before we had 5-year, 10-year, 20-year term. We were all selling annual renewable term. And New York Life's annual renewable term was just a little lower in price than MetLife's. And I was losing these cases. So I got a hold of the New York Life stuff and I found out, okay, their first year price was lower, but then from there on, they were higher. So we were cheaper 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And once I learned about my competitor, I never lost another case. Well, then I went and worked for New York Life for 15 years, but that was before I was at New York Life. So I'm telling you, don't just know your products, know your competitors' products as well. Develop a library of disinterested third-party references. Books, articles, white papers. See, you have a conflict of interest with your client because if they buy, you get paid. If they don't buy, you don't get paid. Your company has a conflict because if they buy, the company makes money. If they don't buy, the company doesn't make money. So what you want to do is have some third-party references of people who don't get paid whether they buy or not. I don't get paid whether they buy or not. Joe doesn't get paid whether they buy or not. Dr. David Babel, Dr. Michael Finken, Dr. Wade Pfau, Jamie Hopkins of Forbes magazine, none of them get paid whether they buy or not. So use those disinterested third-party references that say, here's why annuities make sense. Here's where they fit in the portfolio. And that the white paper on the screen, Retirement Alpha, that's a white paper I wrote that's really a summary of multiple white papers. But if you've got a copy of Paychecks and Playchecks or Don't Worry, Retire Happy, go to the references. I reference all the white papers that I used to write those books. And I would start printing out some of those white papers and have those in a place where you can take them out on appointments. If you haven't got a copy of David McKnight's book, Power of Zero, get it, read it, share it. I'm telling you, his message is going to be more important now than ever. Where do you think these trillions of dollars are going to come from? Some fairy tale land? They're all going to come from you and me in taxes over the next 10 and 20 years. So taxes are going to have to go up significantly because of all of these trillions of dollars. And his book shows how by moving money into permanent life insurance and Roth IRAs, it's a perfect time. That would be a perfect phone call to make anyway. Talk to your clients about doing Roth IRA conversions. You get the double bump. Now, what am I talking about? It's like a double discount. Number one, we're in the lowest tax rate environment you're ever going to see for the rest of your life. Number two, the market is down 30% or 40%. So now you transfer this money at a discount. You pay the taxes on the lower amount. When it grows back up, and eventually will, that will all be tax-free. So that is a great thing to talk to people about doing those Roth conversions and heading into tax-free land because their taxes are going to go up. Work on your questioning skills. Too many advisors are out there telling, oh, my product does this, it slices, it dices. Stop talking. Ask more questions. Listen. Telling is not selling. Listening is selling. Asking is selling. Triple your questions, you're going to triple your income. Now, a couple books that will help you on question skills is Man on a Mission by Marv Feldman. Now, you got to remember, Marv Feldman is the son of Ben Feldman, the #1 life insurance person in the history of the world. And that family is the top selling life insurance family in the history of the world. He shares his secrets in that book, but it's loaded with great questions. So why don't you just work 5 or 10 of those questions into your repertoire? Retirement Income Masters. That one's loaded up with questions as well. And so learn from these top producers on the right questions to ask and increase your questions. Next slide. Let me just see. There we go. Work on virtual appointments. Run virtual appointments every day, whether you use Zoom or WebEx or Skype or FaceTime or Join Me. Get one of them. Join Me. I started that. It was free, and then I upgraded. Now I use Zoom. Zoom is has more capability, but I don't care which one you use. But start running virtual appointments. I missed a couple things here. Let me go back here. So work on your storytelling skills. Remember, people remember stories. They don't remember numbers or illustrations. Those are a couple books on story selling. I would encourage you to work on your storytelling. And the last thing is get that designation. Get your CLU, get your CHFC, get your CASL, your CFP, or your RICP. It's a great time to get a designation. So number 3 is activity. I kind of skipped in here, but call your clients. Ask them how they're doing. You know, I had a lot of widows when I was an agent, 85-year-old widows, and I would have called them up in this thing, and I would have said, hey, can I get you some milk, or can I run can I go to the grocery store for you? There's things you can do for your clients. This is a time to deepen those relationships, okay? The brokers aren't calling them, and you know why they call them brokers, right? Because they're broker than they were 3 months ago, okay? They're not calling the clients, but you should be calling your clients and do annual reviews, ask a lot of questions. This is a great time to work with your clients. Movie night. This has worked with Fortune 500 companies all around the country. We get advisors, they get a bucket of popcorn at the dollar store. They put a DVD of either Don't Worry, Retire Happy or Power of Zero. You put in 2 Cokes and some candy. You make movie night. You drop it off at their porch. You don't even have to touch them. You can come back and say, hey, I need that video back. I need to get it out to some other people. It's just a way that you can be providing value to them because they have time to watch this stuff. Power of Zero, I think, is on Amazon Prime as well. You can drop off books for them to read. Paychecks and Playchecks, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Those books have resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars of sales of annuities and life insurance just by people reading the doggone book. But I love Moshe Milevsky's Are You a Stock or a Bond? That is a great talking point with clients because you ask them, hey, do you think you're a stock or a bond? And I got news for you. You got a salary and you got benefits and you're weathering this storm just fine. You're more like a bond, all right? But if you have no income coming in and you're really in financial trouble, you're more like a stock. And what this thing said is that you should take your human capital into account, just like an investment. And if you're a stock, you should invest more conservatively. So people who are really in financial tough times right now, they need to add some permanent life insurance, some annuities into their portfolio because their income is like a stock. So they need to have some other things guaranteed. And again, the power of zero. You can put your name and picture on the cover of my books. It'll still say Paychecks and Playchecks by Tom Hegna, but then it says with contributions from your name. You get to put your picture on the book and you go and you hand it, yeah, taught Tom everything he knows. Here, try to read that. But that is a great way to build connection with high net worth individuals and attorneys and accountants. Start doing webinars. I just did a free webinar and you can watch it. And I sent Dave the link to these. So I've done 3 webinars that you can watch for free. Okay. And this is 3 keys to a successful seminar or webinar, because all a webinar is a seminar online. And you can watch that. And again, Dave will send you that link so that you can watch it if you want. It's free. White Glove can fill your webinar with prospects, because you got to understand there are 3 key things to do in a webinar. Number 1, you got to fill that room. You got to have attendees, and you can do it yourself, but White Glove and Army 360 are some companies that can help you fill that. Number 2, you need to have a process, what to do before the webinar, what to do during the webinar, what to do after the webinar. And number 3 is content. You've got to have powerful, powerful content. And so I can help you with number 2 and number 3, and White Glove and some of these other things can fill the room for you. Understand that in times of uncertainty, what people crave is certainty. Stress the guarantees of our products. Joe went over it. Guarantees that really only matter during times like these. It's been a everybody's made fun of variable annuities and every life insurance and everything for the last 11 years. Oh, market's going up. Oh, my broker got me 30%. Why would I want to do something stupid like that? Well, here's why. And I'm not saying put all of your money into life insurance and annuities. Put a portion of it. And I think that will make sense to people. See, I wish people would have listened back when the market was up here, but they don't. But now the market's down here, now they will listen. Something happens when the market goes down, they tend to listen. Let your clients know you sell life insurance. Like Joe said, this is on their minds. I would just call every person. Do you understand we have life insurance? We do not have a COVID-19 question on our life insurance policy. They may add one at some point in the future. Might be a time to get it right now. And then last, and this just take 2 seconds, some lessons learned from this. Number 1, people really do need an emergency fund. Businesses do too. If businesses are failing because they can't last for 30 or 60 or 90 days with no revenue, look, that can be planned for. My speaking revenue went to 0, okay? But I've moved some things to online, which is number 2. You should always work on generating multiple revenue streams. I'm doing webinars, I do virtual training, I have online training and coaching, I got products, I got DVDs. My sales are going up more than ever under a situation like this. So even though my speaking revenue went down, my other stuff has gone up, and I'm going to survive this thing just fine. But businesses need to be thinking like that. You need to be thinking like that. You need to develop multiple sources of revenue for the future. And I think companies and regulators need to stop majoring in the minors with compliance. They need to focus on real fraud and abuse, not seminar invitations or a word or two that some regulator doesn't like. My team spent 4 hours one day, 4 hours, with a Fortune 100 company that didn't like the font of the letter K. I have one slide that said 401k. I don't even talk about 401ks. I had a slide that said 401k, and they didn't like the font of that K. And my team spent 4 hours. That's ridiculous, and companies have to stop doing that, or they're going to be losing their field force. The other thing is markets do go down, and they can stay down for a very, very, very long time. The Japanese stock market has been down for over 30 years. The European stock market has been down for over 20 years. Americans have no idea how far the market can fall and how long it can stay down. And that's why what we do is so important, because our companies can invest for 50 years and 100 years, but individuals can't. Our industry was built for markets like these, for times like these. We can protect businesses and families in a way nobody else can. Our products have guarantees that people crave. And I want you to go out and have your best year ever.